A crazy whirlwind of a day happened in the overall markets, basically everything gapping down, ending green. Unless you were in oil, then you did the exact opposite of that. Huge green candle to open, especially with those futures and Sunday night. And then boom, everything is just tanking and ending in red. So there was a lot of things that happened overall today, just not just in oil, but basically everywhere. So we're just going to briefly kind of examine a few key moments in here that happened today. So first, we're going to look at HIMS. We mentioned in our video last night, hey, watch for that $23 level. That is going to be a hard resistance for us. Today, guess what happened? We gapped up above 22, bounced right off that 23, and now we're kind of sitting here in that $22 handle, exactly like we called it yesterday. So congrats to all who played over the weekend. But we kind of warned everybody, hey, don't get too excited in here. Let's let this thing simmer. Let's let the IV come back to us. So now that we have correct IV in here as far as the expected moves and things like that, as far as our skew goes, today, our IV ranking here is sitting at 52, $2 expected move priced in by Friday. So yes, we did just gap up and then have a huge run in here, ending green about almost $7 higher than Friday's close. But you now only have a $2 expected move priced in until Friday's expiration. So keep that in mind. We mentioned these two main moving averages in here, the 9-day EMA and this 200 SMA. We are sitting above both of those right now, but keep in mind, if we cannot hold this, then look to a little look for a little mean reversion in here, and then perhaps to come back down and have to fill this gap here right around that $18 level. But so far, so good, but we'll see how tomorrow kind of shakes things out. Next up on the list is going to be Tesla. That was a stock that obviously had a huge move in here. We were down in those 380s, obviously climbed up to that 400 handle, and we actually ended the day right at 398. So you can see that we're down below this overall structure for 2 weeks in a row now. We left this on last week. We didn't know if we were going to respect that or not because you had this long upper wick here. Obviously, this is a confirmed breakdown of this overall structure, but we're going to see if this 50-day SMA is going to get revisited anytime soon. You can see the last time we touched that was back in last year. So we're going to see if we're going to come back down here and then touch that or not. That's currently trading at 375. But to the upside in here, we're going to be watching that $400 level. Obviously, that's key for us. We're sitting right up against it right now. If we can get above that, then we're going to be looking at this lower trend line of this overall structure sitting right around those 408s. And then anything above there, that 9-day EMA sitting at 413. We also have to talk about oil because of the huge move that we had in the overall oil sector last night going into tonight. We're not even going to put any lines on here yet. We're just going to read this as it is. So just a huge gap up last night and then just everything falling through, right? So just multiple key levels in here that we even had or that we had marked from yesterday. And these are all levels coming from 2019 and COVID, right? So here in USO, breaking down through multiple levels after that huge big gap up in here. So now going forward, we're sitting below 105. What are we looking at? To the downside, 100. That's the big level right here. To the upside, we're watching that 107, and then we're looking right here at that 109 to 110 area. That's kind of what everybody is looking at in here. But it's all going to be about how much time it takes for us to kind of reset this RSI in here, what volume is going to come with it. It's all going to be about momentum here with these overall oil stocks, especially when you have that huge influx in volatility. Everybody's pricing in right around $11 expected move by Wednesday, with IV rank sitting at 98. So huge IV in here. Options are super expensive compared to themselves. $11 move and only 2 trading sessions. Let's see how this ends up shaking out. That puts a lot of levels back on the table for us. So we could be back up in these 120s, or we could be down here back in those $90 handles sooner rather than later. So let's see what happens and how this overall weekly candle is going to shake out. We're also going to talk about SPY in here. We got to talk about the overall market just because of the crazy day we had, that huge gap down, but obviously that nice big green ending that we had into the end of the day. Overall net flow, just super bullish. People were selling puts. They were buying calls. That's what you kind of like to see on a strong move. So we have some momentum in here, but that 680 level is going to be a spot for us that we do need to break. If we can get above there, then we're looking right here at this blue line, 682. That's at 9-day EMA. If we can get above both of those, then it looks like we're off to the races, and then 690 should be on the table. If not, if 680 is going to get rejected tomorrow, yet again, then we're going to be looking down here at that 672 for our main support. Anything below there, obviously, it is going to be that low that came in last night, which is right around that 660. But let's just call it a $4 channel, because we did hit those 656s for quite some time in the pre-market. So let's just call it 656 to around 660. That whole area, we're going to see how that shakes out. Anything below there, though, we're looking down here at this 652. So those are the areas we're looking at in here on the overall market in SPY. Now, we also are going to take a gander here at AMD. So we mentioned that NVIDIA is going to be a something to play with here going forward, but we have AMD breaking out of an overall structure. Last week, obviously, we let this overall trend on because we wanted to wait and see what happened here. You had that upper trend line kind of breaching it for a little while in here. Obviously, we closed way below it. This week, it looks like we almost try to climb back in it just in one day, right? So $11 up on the day from yesterday, almost gives us in that 202 range. We have to wait and see if we can hold these 200s. That's going to be kind of key going forward. Just make it simple. Don't even look at on any of these lines. Are we going to hold 200 or not? If so, then we can start worrying about this overall structure. We can worry about this 9-day EMA sitting at 208. And then anything above there, we're looking at the 220 area. To the downside in here, obviously 184, that is going to be the level that we're watching. Anything outside of that, it is going to be this 174 level right here, which is your 50-day SMA. So all in all, a lot going on in here in the overall markets. And we're going to wait and see how everything shakes out. We're going to wait for our volatility to come back down. We are going to look at the VIX really quick, since we are talking about volatility. We're going to see how this starts to kind of come into play as far as gapping up and gapping down and things like that. You can see just breaching through that prior resistance this week. We were up in the 30s for quite some time. Today dropped all the way back down. We ended the day at 25. So as long as we're in between this $28 and $23 range, we are going to get some decent movements. If we get any higher, obviously we're going to see huge influxes quickly. And that's kind of what we had today. But anything in these upper 20s to right around that 23, we're going to see basically what we have been seeing in the past week, where you had those quick, not necessarily hourly influxes, but those kind of midday turnarounds. That is kind of what we're looking at going forward. So let's see where our VIX is going to stay. We're going to see how it relates to the overall market, and we're going to see how things shake out with the overall situation happening in the Middle East right now. All right, guys, if you like this video, make sure to check us out on all of our social media. We also have a Discord service if you are interested, and you can find all of our socials in the description below.